In this episode of Von Armand DIY, I want to show you how I made my own Stitch shirt. But before I get into the video, I first want to say rest in peace to a man who really loves Stitch. This video is dedicated to you. R.I.P. XXXTentacion. But now to get into my video, here are the materials I used. And the first thing I did was I traced how big I want the body shape around on my blue shirt. There it is there. And then I put the blue fabric I'm going to use for the body shape on the inside of the shirt. And I'm going to use that to trace around the neckline. I'm going to use that to trace I'm going to mark the lines on the inside as well while it's hold down, so I can know how big the body will be on that blue, on the turquoise blue. Then I also mark the center line there so it's perfectly centered. I can also trace the bottom too while it's on the inside of the shirt, so I can know how big I want to know how big the body is, so I just did that. And once I got it centered, I'm actually just gonna fold it over once it's fully centered and I got the full line, because I'm gonna fold it over and that way it can be a fully symmetrical piece. So yeah, fold it, pinned it down to make sure it's nice and even. And I got a full symmetrical body shape here. And before I do anything else, first thing I also wanna do is make another piece. So I'm gonna pin that down on the fabric and cut out a second piece. There it is there, got two pieces now. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sew around those two pieces together. Like, see here, got a top stitch like a ½ an inch away from the ends, and you're gonna leave a little opening right there so you can flip it inside out and have yourself a nice clean double layered piece. And like I said, leave that opening for sure so you can flip it out. That's a nice method I use. But also I'm gonna sew it down on the outside just so they stay together perfectly and don't slide off one another while I'm sewing. That'll make it easier to put into the shirt. I'm gonna center it there, and once I got the centers marked, I'm also just gonna place it on the shirt, pin it down, and just start tracing around it. Trace around it because I definitely want it to be the perfect size. I also add marking lines here so I can hold it in place. You can use pins, but I prefer to do this because it's easier. I can hold it in place, and yeah, once I got the shape traced around, I can just cut out the blue shape there. And you definitely want to leave seam allowance on the inside, otherwise it won't fit perfectly. You definitely need seam allowance, very important method. But yeah, once I have it cut out, I can just start sewing that blue turquoise piece in. And I just started from the corners on the top there and made my way across and made my way down. That way I know it lines up perfectly at the top. That's just the one part I want to get over with. And then, like I said, I can hold it in place using these marking lines and seam allowance. And I can just make my way around once and start sewing it all the way around actually. And then in the end, I should definitely have this right here. See, got the body piece perfectly put in, and there's wrinkles and stuff, but they're not that bad, but it works. Got myself a Stitch body on my blue shirt. And also on the body, he sort of has this furry point detail that I'm just gonna put on using black puffy paint. There it is there, center marked. I just painted it on. But yeah, once I did that, the front was done. Then I'm gonna move on to this back shape that Stitch has on his back, like a dark bluish. I took a cardboard, just cut out a half piece so I can trace on the one side and then trace it on the other, so I can have a perfectly symmetrical shape on my back. And once I got it fully traced on, I'm gonna take dark blue, like navy blue puff paint, and just paint it all in. And once I did that, it was done. So now to reveal it to you, here is my very own Stitch shirt. See it? There it is, the reveal. You got it there, sides, don't look bad at all. It feels good, perfectly placed in. Got the back shape as well. It's just a full Stitch body costume shirt. But this wasn't the first attempt I'd had at making this shirt. There was a lot. But to show you first, I of course made the shirt for the remake, saw it at this fan event. And for this one, this was actually just the body sewn with the back of black leather showing, because it matched the remake's color. And in the remake, Stitch was really good actually. The actress who played Lilo was really good too for her very first role. And it had good emotional moments, and it was funny, but still suffered from Disney live action remake syndrome. Here's after the second time I saw it. This one was, I just decided to paint the leather blue instead. There's me drinking out of a lava lamp like in the trailer. Here's me after the third time, still with the blue painted body, leather. Here's me with my brother dressed as the other blue crazy alien, Sonic the Hedgehog. Here's when I took another blue shirt of that color and just sewed it on when I actually saw the shirt on 626. Before I get into the sixth time I saw it, I just want to say Lilo and Stitch 2 now in development. I need this to be good since it's something original. And it needs a bigger budget. That's one of the things that ruined this movie to me, I feel like. It had a really low budget for a movie with a bunch of aliens. And that's primarily due to how it was originally for Disney Plus. But of course they changed it at the last minute, just like they did with Moana 2, which kind of ruined the movie. They should just actually just put them in theaters. They didn't know they might as well just do that. So yeah, for Lilo and Stitch 2, we're gonna need a bigger budget for sure. Because honestly, also, I want to see Jumba and Pleakley in their alien forms a lot more. I don't want to see them in human forms. The director can make all the excuses he wants, but that was just clearly to save money on the CGI. You don't need to CGI humans, and especially because I really want to see Captain Gantu. That was too cool of a character to just cut out of that movie just because you didn't want to CGI him in with a budget and whatnot. Also for Jumba, he needs to be recasted. That voice did not do it. Cast David Harbour. We see he has a good, funny Russian accent. But yeah, to get into the sixth time I saw it, after I visited the grave of XXXTentacion when I went to Miami, I saw how he had a bunch of Stitch plushes at his grave, and I just saw the movie one more time in his honor after I completed this shirt, since it was sad to know he didn't live to see it. There's me in my shirt, there's my little brother, he's in his X hair, his X shirt, and he also even has X posters. But for real, rest in peace to X. I hope he's having a better life in peace paradise, for real. But yeah, that's my shirt. That's my video. Thank you for watching.